Manchester United 4, Melbourne victory 1. The 100% record for Erik ten Hag continues in pre-season, but I think he would probably learn more out of today's game than he did against Liverpool. We knew the game against Liverpool was a bit of a false positive, as it were, right? A great result against a really strong side, but maybe it didn't tell the full story. That was a game of two halves, but today really was a game of two halves. First half performance, whilst we grew into that game, make no mistake, first 20, 25, 30 minutes, United flashbacks to last season. We might as well have been playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick. Same formation, same rash passing, no press, defensive mistakes, defensive frailties, and it felt like a case of here we go again. Harry Maguire, the established captain, comes back into the side, and what do we see? The same Harry Maguire that we've seen before. Their goal, simple counter-attack. They play it out from the back, play it down United's left, right-hand side, whatever it was, cuts it back. Maguire was just so far off it in terms of pace. He attempted to push up. That didn't work. They score a goal. Granted, we then grew back into the game. We had a lot of the ball. Their attempt was always going to be a low block, and that's what they were doing. And eventually we made our way through that. I thought Jadon Sancho in the first half looked particularly bright down United's right-hand side. Does look like he's benefiting from this Erik ten Hag system, playing on that right-hand side. And he was forming a nice relationship with Diogo Dalot. We get a bit of luck with Scott McTominay's goal, deflection, goes in, poor pass to McTominay in the first instance for that goal actually as well. Anthony Martial continues to look sharp. That's 2-2. Technically, I suppose you could actually give McTominay's first goal to him. I think it actually comes off Martial. But 2-2, he looks sharp as a striker. Now, we don't know what's going on with Cristiano Ronaldo at this point, so we might actually be needing him quite a lot. So it's good to see him getting back into form. But you would still say big frailties in there. Scott McTominay looked off it. Passing was really poor. Fred, once again, scored a good goal against Liverpool, but again, passing was poor. People were going past him easily. And again, that defence did look off it. Second half, though, was completely different. He changed all of the players, apart from the goalkeeper, Tom Heaton. But once again, Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal come on. Composure, they had time on the ball, they wanted the ball. You had people like Charlie Savage coming deep, taking the ball off the centre-back and then pinging the ball 25 yards out to people like Rashford or people like Ahmad or people like Donny. It was really refreshing to see, and I think that I don't know how really to perceive it. Is it a case of these players coming in, taking their opportunities? Is it a case of our standards are so far on the floor that when we see people that can come in, can put their foot on the ball, can just show a little bit of composure, can pass the ball in difficult situations or in tight spots that we rate them so highly, you can clearly see why Erik ten Hag is looking for people like Christian Eriksen, why he's looking for people like Frankie de Jong, because we need people that have that technical quality. We just don't have it in the middle of the park. And having youngsters like Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal come on and actually show something, show a bit of quality, it really does open your eyes, actually. And I think that Ten Hag will be, it'll be interesting to see what he says to his more senior players. Make no mistake, that side that started is meant to be the stronger side. Those are the players that are more in contention to be starting in the season, maybe bar Marcus Rashford. And they won't have really done themselves any favours. Today, Lisandro Martinez, we get the here we go from Fabrizio Romano, and Harry Maguire puts in a stinker. There's only really one centre-back position available because Martinez is going to be starting. You don't spend 55 million euros on a player for him to be sitting on the bench. He's going to be starting. So out of those centre-backs that are left, has Maguire done himself any favours? I don't think he has. The issue then becomes, is it going to be a case of the captain's on the bench, discussions about the captain, etc., etc.? The issue is, that's on him. He wasn't good enough today. And it'll be interesting to see how he does develop in that Erik ten Hag Manchester United system. I do want to shout out Marcus Rashford. He did have a quiet second half and looked like he was struggling to get into the game at points. But the main thing is he got his goal. He got his goal, and I think that will do wonders for his confidence. We've seen a player last season that was devoid of any confidence. At Old Trafford, the guy was walking around. He wasn't doing all that much, and he looked like the last place he wanted to be was on a football pitch. Nobody wants to see that. Now, whilst today he didn't turn up really any trees in the second half, he got his goal. He was wearing the captain's armband, and hopefully that will spur him on a little bit. We didn't see the same fluid front three we saw start against Liverpool, which was Rashford, Sancho and Martial. I tend to think that Rashford was saved for the second half just so we had a striker, and he got his goal because of it. So, like in the game against Liverpool, there will be positives. There are probably more negatives coming out of this game, despite the scoreline, because of the nature of maybe that first 30 or 40 minutes against Liverpool. But ultimately, you've got a case where some younger players who we didn't necessarily expect to be shining on this tour are shining in Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal. So who's to say that they can't push into a more senior starting spot in the future? But a victory nevertheless, and Erik ten Hag, I'm sure, will be very happy with it.